Marcus Kane stood in the observation deck of the diplomatic station, staring at the swirling nebula beyond the reinforced glass. 3 months had passed since he killed Lord Vathrin, the most feared warlord in the Outer Spiral. 3 months since humanity proved it wouldn't bow to tyranny, no matter how ancient or powerful the tyrant. The door hissed open behind him. Marcus didn't turn. He knew who it was by the distinctive pattern of footfalls, the faint scent of ozone that clung to all members of her species. "Captain Kane," Lady Thissa said, her voice like wind chimes made of crystal. "We need to speak." Marcus finally turned. The widow of the man he'd killed stood before him, tall and elegant in flowing robes of deep violet. Her skin shimmered with bioluminescent patterns, a trait of the Valkorian people. 4 arms were folded in a gesture he'd come to recognize as contemplation. Her eyes, large and golden with vertical pupils, studied him with unsettling intensity. "Lady Thissa," Marcus acknowledged with a slight nod. "I wasn't expecting you." "Few expect me," she replied, gliding closer. "That has always been my advantage." 3 months ago, Marcus had been a simple freight captain running supplies between Earth colonies. Then Vathrin's armada arrived at Station Kepler, demanding tribute and submission. The Overlord himself had come aboard, confident in his invincibility. He'd ruled 17 systems for 3 centuries, after all. What could one human possibly do? Marcus had answered that question with a plasma cutter to Vathrin's throat when the alien turned his back. It wasn't honorable. It wasn't fair. But it saved 40,000 lives. The Galactic Council had debated for weeks whether to execute Marcus or give him a medal. In the end, they'd done neither. Vathrin's reign had been brutal, but he'd also maintained a certain order. His death created a power vacuum that dozens of lesser warlords were eager to fill. "I've come with a proposal," Thissa continued, her luminescent patterns flickering in what might have been nervousness. "One that will seem strange to you, I'm certain." Marcus crossed his arms. "I'm listening. In Valkorian culture, when a mate is slain by a worthy opponent, the widow may claim the victor as the sire of her next offspring. It is an ancient custom, designed to strengthen our bloodlines with the traits of those who prove themselves superior." The words hung in the air like a suspended explosion. Marcus blinked, certain he'd misheard. "You want what?" "Your genetic material," Thissa clarified, unperturbed by his reaction. "I wish to bear a child with your DNA, not through mating, if that concerns you. Our medical technology allows for genetic synthesis. I would require only a sample." Marcus took a step back, his mind reeling. "You can't be serious." "I killed your husband." "You killed a tyrant," Thissa corrected, her voice hardening. "Vathrin was many things to many beings. To the galaxy, he was a warlord. To his subjects, a cruel master. To me, he was a cage I wore for 200 years. The bioluminescent patterns on her skin shifted to sharp, angry reds. "Do you know why he came to your station himself, Captain?" "Pride. Arrogance. He wanted to see the fear in human eyes when they realized their pathetic weapons meant nothing against him. He'd grown soft, drunk on his own legend." Thissa moved to the observation window, her reflection ghostly against the stars. "I was married to him when I was barely old enough to understand what marriage meant. A political arrangement between my family and his clan. I've spent 2 centuries as an ornament, a symbol of his power. Your plasma cutter gave me freedom." Marcus felt his anger deflating, replaced by something more complex. "Then why would you want anything from me? Take your freedom. Rebuild your life. Because freedom without legacy is hollow," Thissa said, turning back to face him. "Valkorian law states that I inherit Vathrin's territories and titles only if I produce an heir within 1 solar cycle of his death. Otherwise, everything passes to his military commanders, the same butchers who carried out his worst orders." And you want a child with human DNA because? Because humanity has proven something the galaxy forgot long ago, Thesis said, stepping closer. You proved that size doesn't matter. That technology can be overcome. That courage and quick thinking can defeat centuries of accumulated power. Those are traits worth preserving. Marcus shook his head. This is insane. The Galactic Council would never accept a half-human heir to Vethran's throne. The Council has no choice, Thesa replied. Velkorian succession law supersedes Council authority in internal matters. They can protest, but they cannot prevent it. Moreover, I believe they would secretly welcome it. A child raised with human values, with human perspective, controlling 17 systems? It could change everything. Or it could make things worse, Marcus countered. What happens when this kid grows up? What if they turn out like Vethran? Then you would be there to stop them, Thesa said simply. I'm not asking you to disappear, Captain Kane. I'm asking you to be present, to help raise this child, to teach them what you taught the galaxy the day you refused to submit. Marcus laughed bitterly. I'm afraid, Captain. I'm not father material, and I'm definitely not qualified to raise some kind of hybrid alien royalty. You killed a Galactic Overlord with a tool meant for cutting metal plates, Thesa said, her golden eyes glinting. I think you're more capable than you believe. For a long moment, Marcus said nothing. He thought about the 40,000 people he'd saved. He thought about the reports coming in from Vethran's former territories, the chaos and violence as warlords fought for control. He thought about what one person could do when they refused to accept the unacceptable. Why me, really? He asked quietly. There are human soldiers, diplomats, people actually qualified for this kind of thing. Thesa's patterns shifted to a soft blue. Because when Vethran entered your station, demanding submission, you didn't call for backup. You didn't negotiate or stall for time. You saw what needed to be done, and you did it. That kind of decisive action, that clarity of purpose, is exactly what this galaxy needs. I was terrified, Marcus admitted. I thought I was going to die. Courage isn't the absence of fear, Thesa replied. It's acting despite it. You embodied that. And more importantly, after you killed him, you didn't try to claim his power for yourself. You simply went back to your ship and filed a report. Humility and strength in equal measure. Marcus walked to the window, pressing his palm against the cool glass. Somewhere out there, 17 systems waited to see what would happen next. Billions of beings hoping for something better than endless cycles of violence and oppression. If I agree to this, he said slowly, I have conditions. Name them. The child gets raised with human values. Freedom, choice, the idea that power comes with responsibility, not just privilege. No Velkorian court politics, no training them to be some kind of conquering monarch. Agreed, Thesa said immediately. And I want guarantees. Legal documentation that protects this kid if things go wrong. They don't get used as a pawn by either side, human or Velkorian. I can arrange that. Marcus turned to face her. One more thing. If we're doing this, we're doing it honestly. No schemes, no hidden agendas. You want me involved in raising this child? Then we're partners in this. Equal partners. Thesa's patterns flickered through several colors before settling on a warm amber. You continue to surprise me, Captain Kane. Most beings would have demanded territory, wealth, or political power. You ask only for honesty and partnership. Those are the only things worth having, Marcus said. For the first time, something that might have been a smile crossed Thesa's alien features. Perhaps Vethran's greatest mistake wasn't underestimating humanity's weapons. Perhaps it was underestimating humanity itself. She extended one of her 4 hands. Do we have an agreement? Marcus looked at the offered hand, then at the stars beyond the window. He thought about every terrible decision that had led him to this moment, and every good choice that might come from it. Somewhere out there, a future was waiting to be written. One where humans and aliens worked together, not out of fear or conquest, but genuine partnership. He took her hand. "We have an agreement." The bioluminescent patterns on Thesis' skin blazed brilliant gold, a Velcorian sign of joy. "Then let us begin something new, Captain Kane. Not an empire built on fear, but a legacy built on the courage to try." Marcus nodded, knowing his life had just become infinitely more complicated. But as he looked at the stars, he felt something unexpected stirring in his chest. Not fear or regret, but hope. The galaxy had been shaped by conquest and domination for millennia. Maybe it was time for something different. Maybe it was time for a freight captain and an alien widow to show everyone what partnership really meant. The future was uncertain, terrifying, and full of impossible challenges. But then again, so had been the moment when Marcus Kane faced down a galactic overlord with nothing but a plasma cutter and determination. He'd figured it out then. He'd figure this out too. Behind him, Thissa began outlining the practicalities, her voice steady and businesslike. But Marcus barely heard. He was too busy contemplating the strange, impossible, wonderful thing that humanity did best, making the unthinkable work, one impossible day at a time.